Bulletcast for life.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bulletcast. We're the only sports and recreational podcast that is simply just too sweet. I'm the Podfather. I'm the Bulletcast champion. I have Brandon, the Canadian Destroyer. How's it going there, man?
It's going fantastic. Let's jump right into it. Let's get it. Try Lil Pump.
Ew, don't mention that here.
Lil Pump and Kanye new track dropped. At the Pornhub Awards.
Of course it did.
Of course.
You know, of course that happens. Alright, so let's get into it.
I didn't even know there was a Pornhub Awards.
I mean, you know the AVN Awards, but that happens every January, kind of like Wrestle Kingdom. Very big event. We should make our way out there one day.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, never mind. Let's move on.
Let that one pass.
Let's move on.
Alright, let's get into this performance-enhancing audio. So, outside of the ring, this is interesting. Finn tweets about one night in China. He was in a six-man tag with himself, John Cena, Bobby Lashley, going up against Jinder Mahal, Baron Corbin, and Elias. And then as Cena, Lashley, and Finn are about to do the Five Knuckle Shuffle, he posts that picture. He's like, one night in China. And then the people from China's estate, China the wrestler, they tweeted out, not in the best of taste, we at Team China are doing the best to get on the same page with the WWE and could use as much positive support from wrestlers as possible. Hashtag Team China. Hashtag China Hall of Fame. I don't know why they tweeted that out. I mean, obviously I know why, because of the tape that she had with X-Pac. But, I mean, I don't think it wasn't in that sense.
I'll be honest, when you first said that, I had no idea where you're going with it. And then after you said China's estate, I put two and two together. I think they might be making something out of nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what Finn's logic was. Maybe he was trying to be a little cheeky and he got caught. But I don't think it's that big of a deal.
It's not. It's okay. Everything's gonna be A-okay. Alright, so Mickie James versus Lita was announced for WWE Evolution. Of course, the first ever all-women's pay-per-view. Thoughts on this match being announced?
I'm a little surprised that Lita's coming back for a match. A full-fledged match. I mean, coming back for the Royal Rumble's one thing. You don't have to actually bump a lot, even though she did do like a terrible moonsault, which she has been known to do. But with her and Mickie James, I mean, Trish Stratus is going up against Alexa Bliss. At least that has... Obviously, Alexa Bliss isn't as good of a wrestler as Mickie James is. But Trish Stratus is in phenomenal shape, so she doesn't need to be, walk through a match or help so she doesn't get hurt. But I felt like maybe Mickie James, maybe you should have had somebody a little younger be in this match. Mickie James is a heel. Do you put Alicia Fox in that situation, since they are kind of the mean girls group at the moment? Alicia Fox, decent in the ring.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know who else. Ember Moon comes to mind. She'd get a nice rub from this, but she's obviously a babyface unless you would just want to have a straight up, let's have fun out there match.
That's fine.
The Iconics are out there. You can take anybody. Carmella, but I think if you want to get the best match, obviously I think Mickie James is the best.
Yeah.
Best person to pick from.
Lita probably wanted somebody, a veteran, so to speak, somebody that she could really work safe with, and I guess maybe she chose Mickie James, or maybe Hunter just said, hey, let's have Mickie and Lita, or Vince have probably decided. I don't know how this came about, but it's interesting. We get a little nostalgia act at Evolution. That's going to be fun to watch. Alright, so WWE has announced Season 2 of the Mixed Match Challenge. Thoughts on this?
I watched a little bit of the first season last year. I felt like the promos, the backstage stuff they did, it was fun. The match itself, when it came to the ring, there was no real consequences. They're wrestling for money,
for charity,
even though it's a predetermined sport. So that all kind of doesn't get me excited by any means. But like the stuff Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss did, they were fun.
Team Little Big.
But now Braun Strowman's a heel, so it's not as weird of a combination. Maybe they can play that up a little bit more. Carmella, I feel like Carmella and R-Truth is going to be a lot of fun. I really like what they're doing on SmackDown. We get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But a lot of the same teams are kind of there with the couples there. Natalya and Kevin Owens is a weird one with the babyface heel combination.
Yeah, I have the list of teams here, so I'll just name them off. For the SmackDown teams, we have WWE Champion AJ Styles and SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte. We have R-Truth and Carmella. We have Miz and Asuka again. We have Jimmy Uso and Naomi. We have Rusev and Lana for the Raw teams. We have Bobby Lashley and Sasha Banks. We have Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss. Finn Balor and Bayley. Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. And the Canadian team of Kevin Owens and Natalya.
I mean, I think also the Alicia Fox Jinder Mahal pairing could be fun.
It could be fun.
I don't understand why they separated Sasha Banks and Finn Balor since they were a team last year and they are still on Raw. So that one doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever.
It is whatever. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. They said, I saw one of the things they said last year, and like that obviously happened earlier this year. I don't know why they would. It's just continuity.
Last season.
No, they said last year.
I don't know.
Yeah. It was just continuity for me.
Well, we're going to get into continuity on Raw.
We're going to get into a whole lot of continuity from WWE. A whole lot of it. All right, so there is apparently going to be a Friday edition of Raw on December 28th. What does this mean?
It's not a Friday edition. It's a Friday taping of Raw because this episode of Raw falls on New Year's Eve, which I appreciate WWE not making their wrestlers work during the holiday season. Hopefully they do the same for Christmas Eve, but we shall see.
I mean,
because obviously, these Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve shows are, I feel like you should do good by the talents and let them have at least the weekend or the day or two off because, I know they always run like Madison Square Garden on Christmas, so at least give them some sort of like break and time with their families because, are we honestly going to watch Raw and Smackdown live on Christmas and New Year's or whatever day it is? Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at I know Raw last year was on Christmas, and so they canceled live events the week prior to kind of give them some time off and to relax or whatever. Being away from your family, they're already away from the family so much, and then of course with the holidays, and it's even harder. So this is a win for moral and ethics, of course, from moral standpoints.
And this is the end of the year going into Royal Rumble season. Royal Rumble hype probably doesn't start until the first episode of the year for the most part. So these episodes that are happening right now honestly don't mean a whole lot. There's the December pay-per-view, which is TLC, I believe, which is in San Jose. So we should be going there.
Yes, it's going to be great. I can't wait.
So yeah, there's going to be fallout from that, probably the Christmas Eve episode. But besides that, these shows are not a whole lot of meaning behind them.
Yes. All right, let's talk about the wrestling world's reaction to All In. We are 6 days removed from that stellar pay-per-view, of course, put on by the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes. I heard your Under the Radar episode you gave.
The longest episode of Under the Radar thus far, an hour and 5 minutes, and all I talked about was Miz and Mrs., which, season finale, had to talk about that. NXT and All In. I did not think I was going to talk that much about All In, but I went on a little bit of a tangent.
What do you think the general reaction was to All In?
I think it definitely was positive.
Yeah.
I think the reaction to it in general was positive from all the different people I've heard it from, but then also the thing is okay, they did it, but now what's next? Do they sign with WWE? Do they not sign? Do they do this again? Do they go bigger? Do they just leave it as is because this was such a special moment? Because, this was a once-in-a-lifetime type thing of just, a feeling that I got from people at StarCast and everybody around the situation felt like, this was a special moment, positive vibes all the way around. So I think it's, it was a great show, but then now everyone's speculating what's next.
Of course. I gave my thoughts on it. It felt so different. Obviously didn't feel like WWE. Didn't even feel like Ring of Honor or New Japan. But Bully Ray said it felt like an ECW one-night stand. That's probably the closest comparison you can get to it in terms of the feel standpoint.
Cody was saying it felt like Woodstock, which I can agree. You just have all these big names coming in, and you have the biggest fans of these people. Obviously it's not the same number as Woodstock, but
it was
still
the Woodstock of wrestling, absolutely.
But 11,260 people.
Yeah,
I believe on the note. I remember these numbers.
We thought it was just 10,000. They exceeded that. And yeah, I was listening to In This Corner. Brian Campbell had some guy on who was there. He was talking about his experiences at StarCast and being there for All In, and he had a backstage pass, and he was back there hanging out with Christopher Daniels, and then he was talking about the Jericho spot, and CD told him, hey man, just watch, something special is about to happen. It's about to be really cool. And then Jericho and the Kenny thing, wearing the Pentagon getup. Jericho just released a podcast where he was talking about the process of, they didn't have matching outfits, so he had to find spray paint. It's a really great listen. Go listen to his what happened behind the scenes at All In But overall, man, this was awesome. I loved it. Obviously, they have to do a second one, but if they never do another one, it's okay for the general sense that it was a once in a lifetime deal. It was awesome. That battle royal was probably the greatest battle royal I've ever seen in my life. So All In 2, I know after the show they were throwing around the name Double or Nothing. You know, I'm looking into the future. If we get an All In 3, third time's a charm. Dub it something like that. I don't know, but overall, All In, it was a major success. Of course, Cody winning the title that his father held it. It hit you in the feel spot. There was something for everybody. There was a penis army. If you're into that, by all means.
I loved it. I'll be honest, I loved it.
Yeah.
But I mean, they said Double or Nothing. I think Matt Jackson was on Twitter and somebody said, they can't sell 20,000 or they can't, sell out Citi Field, which is the New York Mets stadium. So, I mean, they didn't. They went to Chicago. That's a huge marketplace. Then maybe, go to a baseball stadium or go to a football stadium in New York somewhere. Definitely not WrestleMania weekend, but, do you do the same time Labor Day weekend? Do you do the summertime? I think if probably summertime might be the best bet for them because, you probably will have the best weather in New York for that time. And, we can have a lot of people traveling who might be on vacation.
It's very true. Yeah, but All In, like I said, it was a really huge...
Or they could just come over here and, play at the Coliseum or, AT&T Park or something like that. Because the Cow Palace was, on their short list of places they were going to go, and we missed out.
We did miss out, man. I would have been there. I would have been at StarCast. I would have been on all this stuff. I really would have. Yeah, but All In, general consensus, it was a job well done. All right, let's talk about...
Show of the year thus far?
It might be. I put it on the list for Bulletcast Awards of Show of the Year. It's on there with a Wrestle Kingdom and a Dominion or whatever. It's there.
Better than any WWE show I've seen thus far, I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, I will too. I'm a Vince McMahon guy till the day I die, but this better than any product.
And it's just as long as any of the lower pay-per-views,
and
yet it flew by, and the crowd wasn't burned out whatsoever.
Okada and Skrull was 26 minutes. It didn't feel like it.
And every single match felt different, so that's why I felt the crowd was into every single thing. Because when you get into the lower card matches in WWE, they all feel the same. We're just waiting for that finish. Get your 10 minutes of work and get out.
Get big pop. All right, this day in wrestling, Unforgiven 2008. This was actually the first pay-per-view I ever bought, believe it or not.
First pay-per-view I ever bought was WrestleMania 20. That shows how old I am.
Man.
Because it was after my first communion, because I'm a good Christian boy.
Oh my God. Yeah, so Unforgiven 2008, this was when the championship scramble concept was brought to our attention. It had the ECW Championship Scramble. There was the WWE Championship Scramble, the World Heavyweight Championship Scramble. This also had the unsanctioned fight between Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho. And this was really... The Championship Scramble match was really interesting. They only did it one other time. So this pay-per-view, actually went back and watched some of it last night. I still enjoyed it. Michaels beats Jericho earlier on in the night, and then Orton and Legacy, or Reforming Legacy, attack CM Punk, and he can't compete. So Jericho's his replacement in the World Heavyweight title match, and Jericho walks out World Heavyweight Champion.
This was during my wrestling hiatus, so honestly, I've never seen the show. So good on me.
Go back and watch it. It was all right. It was okay.
If it has the Chris Jericho Shawn Michaels feud, I've heard great things about it. I definitely should go back and watch that feud, but I'm a little busy right now.
A little busy.
A little busy with things, eh?
All right, so Asuka signs with the WWE on this day in 2015.
Yeah, I don't know the Japanese woman scene out there, so I didn't know who Asuka was, or I forget what her name was back then.
Was it like Kana or something like that?
I don't know. I don't want to say something and just
completely
mess it up, but I had no idea who she was. I heard good things about her, and NXT and early on in her WWE run, she definitely delivered. In her NXT run, I thought it was fantastic. She beat Bayley, and I thought it was at the time I was like, oh, you're really gonna just have her beat Bayley like that? But then after she has her year plus long run with the title, I felt like it was a good move. And unfortunately, Asuka right now was floundering, and after that loss to Charlotte. I was a proponent of having Asuka face Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania next year. And obviously that's not going to happen. Now she's feuding with the Iconics and teaming with Naomi. So
yes.
kind of gone downhill for poor Asuka.
Yeah, I mean, the signing, congrats to WWE NXT getting her at the time. It has gone downhill. I think What Culture put up a video like, Asuka, where did it go wrong? I have to watch it. Yeah, I don't know where it went wrong.
I think it went wrong after she lost. Because once she lost, I mean, eventually she was going to have to lose. Goldberg eventually had to lose. And I think both of them, they did it I think Asuka's loss was better just because it was a straight-up match and it was fine. Goldberg, that's a whole different discussion.
Tasered, right? Yeah.
That's a discussion for a whole other day, but I just feel like with both of them, they don't have the promo ability. They were based solely on what they did in the ring. And Asuka, she is much better worker than Goldberg, so she can tell a much different story than that. But I felt like after that, I don't know if it's just Vince lost. It's kind of like the shiny toy syndrome. Once he got her for a couple months and she goes through her little storyline and loses, he just gets tired of her and just throws her back in the mix.
Sometimes you got to do the job every now and again, man. It's just wrestling. It's just the business, I mean,
Asuka loses for the first time in like 2 years or 3 years at that point, because 2015 is when she signed. So
yeah,
I mean, two and a half years. Let's go with that. But
yeah,
she loses and then she just kind of disappears, and she loses to Carmella.
Hey, Money Mella, main event Mella, man, racking up those wins. It added to what Carmella was doing. It was okay.
I'll change my mind. It all went downhill after the Carmella feud. That's when it really went downhill, because you thought, okay, they can do something with her and Charlotte, and they can have a decent match back and forth. But then when she starts losing to Carmella and James Ellsworth, that's when okay, she's just foil for the hot blondes to lose to.
Yes. All right, Molly Holly is 41 today. Congratulations, Molly Holly. She looked good at the Rumble. Looked very nice.
Met Molly Holly once at a BTW event.
Ew.
She was a very nice lady.
Don't mention that trash here.
Very, very nice woman. And, just can't say anything bad about her. Good Christian girl. She was, back in the Attitude Era when all that BS was flying around. She was like, I ain't doing that.
All that stuff. She was a superhero.
Mighty Molly.
Yes. All right, Colin Delaney is 32. I'll remember Colin Delaney. The original ECW WWE run that he had. Congrats, Colin. He was just recently on Smackdown about, last year? Was it jobber to I think the Bludgeon Brothers? Congrats, man.
Only 32, a long way ahead of him.
Ah, man.
Younger than Finn Balor.
Younger than Finn. Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our fan mail segment. We got some good mail. We got some good fan mail. So this one comes from bimbo.jimbo on Instagram. Why was Cody versus Aldis not the main event?
Maybe it's just Cody being kind of... it is technically an all-in show. It's not an NWA show. Cody maybe kind of being a little... I don't know exactly what the word for it, but with his history that his dad had, always put himself over at the main events, even though maybe he shouldn't have done it. I don't know why I personally would have maybe just put that in the main event, but I think, especially actually what happened with the main event having to be just cut for time so much, I think obviously, I did feel like the match for the NWA Championship, obviously I think it should have been cut down a little bit. You could have taken out that entire whole work shoot injury angle.
It was actually supposed to go longer than that, I hear.
I'm not saying it was waning my patience, but I was kind of like, especially that middle portion, I was like, okay, can we just get this thing wrapped up real quick? But I don't know exactly the reasoning behind it. Maybe we'll never know. Maybe one day, the Bucks and Cody will sit down and kind of go over every little detail about the show.
Yeah. I think it was just Cody, wanting to get it out of the way earlier, sooner rather than later, so we can be in the producer's chair and really call camera shots. I think that's what it was, man. Honestly, when it went on that early, I was like, oh, why is it going on this early? Is all just going over? That was my initial thought as soon as it went on that early. But it was fine. It all worked out in the end.
Yeah, and I think the main event that they had, the 6-man, you have Rey Mysterio, you have the Bucks and Kota Ibushi. Obviously, you're not going to laugh it. You're not going to be like, why is this in the main event? The Bucks just putting themselves over. It's one of those matches okay, you can see it being in the main event. Maybe Kenny and Pentagon, two really big names from two different companies. And obviously the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship could have been in there. But, you got to think about it. All In is just a variety show, to be honest. It's not their championship. And I don't fault them, especially what happened in the end. I feel like if the that match got cut to whatever the main event was for 12 minutes, I don't think they would have been able to have an exciting, spot fest like the other people did. I think it worked out in the end.
Yeah. Speaking of the six-man, Paul Playley from Instagram, did anyone stand out from the big six-man closing match to you?
I think it has to be Bandito. I mean, Bandito's the person who I had no idea who he was. I know he works down in Mexico. I mean, I know what Kota Ibushi can do. I know what the Bucks can do. Rey Mysterio having sort of a renaissance. I mean, he was kind of broken down a few years ago when he left WWE, and now it seems like he's kind of got his mojo back. Maybe not wrestling as much, so now he's kind of got his knees under him. I mean, Phoenix. We didn't talk about it, but there's rumors that Phoenix and Pentagon are going to be going to WWE. I mean, I've seen Phoenix's work, so basically everybody except for Bandito I knew about, so I was really looking forward to see what they would do. Obviously, if they were to go a half hour, I think this match could have honestly been like one of the match of the year contenders.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I mean, it couldn't have been for how short the match was, but I think Bandito definitely was the person that stood out to me, and I'd love to see him do something in, New Japan, Impact, or wherever American-based promotions he can work at.
All right, Paul Playley, once again, what happens with the NWA World Heavyweight Championship now?
I mean, I think it all depends on what goes on with Cody. If he's staying long term, is he signing with WWE? Because I feel like if Cody holds this championship all the way till, let's say, the next All In, I think a Flip Gordon Cody Rhodes match for the NWA Championship could be fantastic, especially with the whole Brandy Rhodes situation. If they maybe kind of play up the Kurt Angle Triple H type dynamic. With, her being Stephanie, and he's just like, what's going on? Maybe Flip Gordon turns heel eventually. Maybe Cody Rhodes turns heel. Who knows? I mean, I'm not saying that's the end-all be-all for this run, but I mean, I'm just looking at what Cody can do. Like, what kind of dates can the NWA get for other promotions? Because he is locked up with ROH mostly in New Japan. But I think with him being all over the place, it definitely gives more exposure, and he's a much higher profile person than Nick Aldis is. No disrespect to Nick Aldis, it's just, that's a fact.
Yes, factoids. Big factoids. I mean, I'd like to see Cody have a nice, really lengthy run, and I think Nick Aldis held the NWA's title for about, 226 days, I believe. So that's an awesome run within its own right. But, let's see what Cody can do with this championship. Cody has a name, the legacy factor, the pedigree, it's all there. I think the NWA is going to continue to build. Maybe they actually get a promotion going. Maybe they stop running championship wrestling from Hollywood. I don't know. We're going to have to see.
I mean, maybe they can get it defended at the Tokyo Dome. That'd be a really big match for them.
That'd be awesome. That would. It probably might happen. All right, last two fan mail segment, or pieces of fan mail. Big Al, he emailed us, what would you do if Vince McMahon bought Ring of Honor?
I don't know what I would do. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to happen. Sinclair Broadcasting is a bigger company than WWP. I don't think a lot of people understand that ROH is technically owned by a bigger company than WWE. So I don't think ROH is ever going to get bought out right now. I mean, they're doing fine. They run their live events. They go overseas. They have their pay-per-views. They're doing just fine.
Yeah.
I don't think ROH or Vince McMahon has any interest in buying ROH right now. I mean, what would he do with it? Except for the tape library, you have, CM Punk, Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan matches, AJ Styles. I mean, all the people that you would think of, Tyler Black matches. You have a whole bunch of different people, which is kind of like what they said about him buying the Impact rights. I mean, basically all he would be buying is the footage, but I mean, ROH kind of has the same feel as NXT. So what's the whole point of buying ROH unless if it's just, a money move, and he's just like, I can do it. I'm going to buy him out. I'm going to give him all this money. And I think it's going to take a lot of money for ROH to take it, because, I mean, they're doing perfectly fine. They don't need the money. So I don't ever see it. I don't see it happening right now. Could it happen down the line if the Bucks and Bullet Club just goes up in flames? And I mean,
because, with Ring of Honor, they're really mainly just the Bullet Club show. To be perfectly honest, I mean, you have your Jay Lethals and your Punishment Martinez and your SCU and all that other stuff, and they love the Bullet Club act. All right, now Ring of Honor without the Bullet Club, would they be as successful right now? Probably not.
Probably. I mean, who's the biggest star? Probably the top 3 or 4 biggest stars are probably on the Bullet Club. You have the Bucks, you have Cody, and then maybe even Hangman or Marty Scurll, and then maybe Hangman Page. I mean, Marty Scurll, I feel like it should be ROH champion eventually.
He'll get there, believe me. All right, then the last one from Big Al. After the unbelievable high of All In, what was it like coming back and watching a confusing and somewhat disappointing episode of Monday Night Raw?
I think it should have been expected.
Why don't we just jump right into Monday Night Raw right here? All right, so Monday Night Raw. All right, the Bella Twins, they return to in-ring action on Monday Night Raw for the first time in 3 years. You know, Twin Magic is back. They're going up against the Riot Squad, and this
Brie puts the literal definition of suicide dive into suicide dive. I mean, she did 2 of them. One of them, I don't know what she was doing. She was obviously supposed to get blocked by Sarah Logan. The other one, she came up about 6 inches too short, and she fell right on her face.
She puts the suicide in suicide dive. Yeah, I mean, the first one, you know, that was a miscommunication between her and Logan. You can say that. The second one, oh my, I mean,
I don't even want Daniel Bryan doing dives. I definitely don't want.
Up on SmackDown too.
Definitely don't want Brie Bella doing dives.
Daniel got caught up on SmackDown. Maybe Miz is in with the ring crew, kind of telling them not to tie him so tight or whatever. You never know. But yeah, I mean, this match overall, it was really just a throwaway. It was like, hey, these girls from these reality shows are going to be here. Let's tune in. Nikki, I can't believe I'm saying this. She really carried the match. To be perfectly honest with you, yeah.
I mean, she got the heat put on her, and then
got the hot tag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brie Bella is serious. No more dives. Like,
I mean, Nikki Bella, to be honest, she did get pretty good that last run she had when she had the Divas Championship for like God knows how long to beat AJ's record. She's still, I mean, she's been wrestling for 10 years now. She's still one of the, not worst, but the maybe middle to bottom tier of the workers in the women's division. I mean, honestly, probably the only person she was a better worker than was her sister and maybe Liv Morgan.
Yeah,
probably Liv Morgan. I love Liv, but let's be honest.
Yes. Yeah, Brie Bella, no more dives. Like seriously, I care about your well-being. Let's not have.
And we're gonna see this match again at Super Showdown.
Oh, of course. This time Ronda Rousey's added into the mix.
So it's gonna be a 6-woman. So we're gonna see everybody.
Rowdy Ronda Rousey. All right. Chad Gable and Bobby Roode have formed a tag team for some reason, and they go on to defeat the Ascension. What?
I mean, better than having them do nothing. I mean, Chad Gable, I'm a big fan of him. I feel like he could just honestly be a decent to great. That's a really broad brushstroke, but I think he could be a really good singles guy. Obviously, he's really short, so that always puts him behind the 8 ball. Putting him with Bobby Roode, I'm not the biggest fan of right now, just a gimmick. Hopefully they can have some sort of dynamic where Bobby Roode or Chad Gable can get some charisma out of Bobby Roode, because right now Bobby Roode, all he does is say glorious.
Look, this is what you do. Chad Gable, he's really getting.
Do you think they're just waiting for Jason Jordan to come back, and then now that he's had his setbacks, they're like, screw it, put him Bobby Roode?
That's probably it. Look, this is what I can see you do. Bobby Roode gets jealous that Chad Gable's kind of stealing his spotlight, people are really talking about Gable more than Roode. Roode turns on him, or whatever, and then we get a heel Bobby Roode in the mid card for an IC title shot. There we go. Everybody wins, and then Jason Gordon can come back and reunite American Alpha. I don't know.
And then maybe Jason Jordan can face Jason Gordon.
Who's Jason Gordon?
I don't know. You just said Jason Gordon. I don't know who he is. See some guy on the indie scene?
It's Flip Gordon's brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe
his black half brother.
Oh God. Yes, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable can reform American Alpha on Raw. Give that tag team division some oomph. All right, Drake Maverick is now the manager of AOP. The babyface general manager from 205 Live is now the manager for this
heel tag team.
Yeah, this once dominating heel tag team. Oh my God!
And he's in a cosplay outfit.
Was it a rib? Like they dressed him up like that?
I mean, he already dresses up wacky enough. Like, just put him in his purple suits and just let him walk out there with him.
Like, they wear black. He could have wore a black suit. That would have been fine.
No, he should have wore purple. It would have been amazing. I mean, he wears the crazy suits anyways.
Yeah,
maybe he only brings one suit on the road, so he just wears the same one for 205 Live, so you don't want to have it mixed up.
When he was Rockstar Spud, wow, he wore some outlandish attire. What are your thoughts on Drake Maverick managing AOP?
I mean, I like it in terms of they need some sort of manager because they can't talk for him, or they can't talk. They had Paul Ellering. They kicked him to the curb the first night because apparently Vince McMahon didn't feel like Paul Ellerin should be with them because he's too old or something like that. But then you realize, okay, the whole reason he's there is because AOP can't cut a promo, and how are they going to cut a promo, if they can't talk? So, I mean, Drake Maverick, it's one of the many things on this show that didn't make any sense. He just came out of nowhere. He cut like, I am now the manager of AOP. And that was it. That's all he said. He didn't give us any backstory, and so now he's going to be the manager of a heel team when he's a babyface manager on 205 Live. Like, is he going to turn heel on 205 Live? Is he... This and a lot of other things just did not make sense on this
Raw
show.
was one of the weirdest episodes I've ever seen.
This feels like one of those episodes where Vince changed everything up until like 7:30, and it's like, screw it. It doesn't make any. Who cares if it makes sense?
Well, goddamn, pal, we got to go out there and do it.
Yeah, we'll make it make sense later.
I feel like that's from Bruce Pritchard's pods. I feel like that's exactly what happened. Yeah, I don't know what this means. I was so confused. All right, Elias, he has his usual concert segment, and Little Miss Bliss comes out. They were in Ohio.
Columbus,
Ohio, home of Alexa. She was pandering to the crowd. They bought in, and of course, she turned on him. She said she couldn't wait to get out of there fast enough.
So we get our weekly dose of heels being sincere and then turning on the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. You guys should be used to it by now, really. Yeah. Then this all leads to a match with Natalya, and Alexa won in her hometown. I was surprised.
She turned on the crowd, which kind of made it kind of weird that she was wearing like an Ohio shirt. But gotta make that merch money. I saw a lot of people wearing those shirts out in the crowd. I mean, I have my Bailey San Jose shirt, so I can't complain.
Of course.
I like the combination of Elias and Alexa Bliss. I don't know how Braun Strowman's gonna feel about that situation with Alexa Bliss flirting with Elias.
Alexa wants to walk with Elias. Let her do it.
Braun Strowman might have something to say about that. But the match between Bliss and Natty, I liked it because I liked the match itself because it's set up like, okay, maybe Alexa's trying to, get a better wrestler and trying to become like, an arm. I think Corey Graves said like, oh, she's training jiu-jitsu, so that's how she got the armbar. And then she puts the armbar on Natty, she makes her tap out, and then just all of a sudden Ronda comes out and just like, mops the floor with her. Like, okay, Alexa Bliss was kind of being shown as some sort of a threat, and then Ronda Rousey showed, no, she's not. I'm just going to kill her again. So
yes.
I didn't like that part of downgrading Alexa Bliss, because obviously right now she's not much of a threat to Ronda. You built up a little bit, and then you just took it away right after.
I don't know what's going on there. This booking it's stressing me out, honestly. I'm being completely honest. It hurts. It really does. I'm at a loss for words. That's how bad it's become. Alright, now I gotta talk about, this was the highlight of Monday Night Raw for me. HBK, he was advertised, to come talk about his good buddy Triple H going up against the Phenom, The Undertaker. And, Sean, he's talking about, he's had battles with Taker, he's had battles with Hunter. But then, I should have known because Renee Young was on commentary. Dean Ambrose came back when she was on commentary. Then The Undertaker, I was legit shocked, I'm not gonna lie. I heard the gong, I was like, wait, what? And
there's reports all over the place that Undertaker was coming back.
I don't look at those. I like to be genuinely surprised.
Trish Stratus surprised me more than The Undertaker did.
Touche. So yeah, Taker, he comes out there, and then this was a really passionate promo. Taker's basically like, you're scared to come back or whatever, and Sean's like, no, like, I stayed retired out of respect for you and out of respect for the stipulation of the match that we had all those years ago. What'd you think of this whole segment?
I mean, I love the segment. I thought it was great. Just two old guys going back and forth, knowing exactly what to say. It's a little sad that we can't get these type of promos and back and forths between other guys. Maybe it's because they don't have the history. Maybe it's because they're not trusted to do so. Because, I mean, with HBK, I feel like HBK kind of went off script a little bit. Undertaker had to try to reel him back in because I think HBK was kind of like pandering to the crowd a little bit, and then Undertaker just completely ignored what he said and just stuck to the script and said what he had to do. But I thought, they're obviously teasing a match between these guys, and I don't think WWE is going to tease a match that they're not going to deliver with. And it seems like there's reports out there that HBK is going to wrestle at Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah, that's coming back again
in November, early November. So in a tag team match, so Triple H, do we get DX versus Undertaker?
The Brothers of Destruction.
Well, Kane's a little busy right now. I don't know if he can take the weekend off.
Kane's the mayor of Knox County.
I don't know if he can take the weekend off, travel across the world, and go to Saudi Arabia. But
you never know. This is the this was great. building up the match, but this is the thing. It's like Raw is specifically to build this Melbourne show, while SmackDown, they're focusing on the pay-per-view they have coming up like in a week and a half. Like, Raw's focusing...
Raw's focusing on 3 different shows. Also, they're talking about Evolution.
Yeah, I mean, they're focusing on stuff way in the future, really, because there's really no, like, serious Hell in the Cell talk besides, like, what, Braun and Roman, what's everybody else doing? And SmackDown, you have, you know, the couple feud with Miz and Bryan and their wives. You have the WWE Championship. You have the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles in the tournament. You have the SmackDown Women's Championship. Like, SmackDown, they're doing it right. We're going to get to that because I loved everything about SmackDown. But Raw, I mean, this was the highlight for me because, you know, I'm a big HBK guy, and the matches he had with Taker were amazing. They're planting the seeds in our heads for an HBK return. That's
which I'm a little torn on. Like,
yeah.
You're gonna have him come back for a Saudi Arabia show in a tag team match when obviously these Saudi shows don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, because I mean Braun Strowman won that belt and that trophy. We haven't seen it like since.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like this. I want HBK to come back. I've wanted it for so long, but I've made my peace with it. He's the only guy who was like truly stayed away. So if he never has another wrestling match again, I'm perfectly fine with it. He honored the deal that was made, the kayfabe deal that was made. That's sticking to kayfabe. That's paying attention to continuity. There was a lot of continuity going back and forth between these guys,
but
too.
I feel like the whole thing is Undertaker's going to say, he's, you know, Triple H, or I keep saying Triple H, HBK he says he respects the Undertaker, and that's why he's not going to wrestle ever again. But then if it's Undertaker that says, you know, wrestle me,
I don't respect you.
And, like, it's going to be the Undertaker who gets HBK out of his retirement, and I feel that's what's going to build to this alleged tag team match.
Honestly, I thought, like, when Undertaker came out, we were going to get another Ultimate Thrill Ride promo. Do you remember that?
No.
He was like, the Ultimate Thrill Ride would be your last thrill ride. I thought he was going to be like, the Ultimate Showdown will be your last showdown. I thought something like that was going to happen. Anyway, great promo from both guys. Yeah, so Bobby Lashley, he's having I don't even know what to call this segment, a meditation segment with Jinder Mahal and one of the Singh brothers, and he gets assaulted by Kevin Owens. Didn't he quit?
My man.
Like, didn't he
My
quit?
man.
Like, what is going on?
My
really?
man.
This thing had legs. I thought they were going to do something interesting, and he just shows up the next week and attacks Bobby Lashley? Really? I thought maybe they keep him off TV for quite some time. Maybe him and Sammy could come back in a dominant force kind of way, or maybe they're going to do something interesting. I thought the Paul Heyman thing could possibly happen, but really? He just comes back and assaults Bobby Lashley for no reason? What is this?
I wish Kevin Owens would have showed up at All In compared to this episode of Raw.
Oh, of course. That would have been amazing.
Because, you know, he quit, so that would have made a little bit of sense. But he comes back. I mean, I speculated last week, they're going to turn Kevin Owens babyface. It's great. You know, they were so complimentary of him and how he faced Seth Rollins and how he's gone through this, you know, terrible thing with Braun Strowman. And then he just comes back and just lays out Bobby Lashley. It sort of makes sense because Bobby Lashley is the one who took out Sami Zayn. But then, like, you think about it, he quit. So then why would he just come back the next week? At least, you know, make us forget about you a little bit before you come back and surprise us. It's the whole CM Punk thing. He quits, but then we see him, you know, a week or two after.
Yeah. I mean, this made absolutely no sense. Like, I saw this meme on Twitter, and it was like, Kevin Owens is like every hardcore internet wrestling fan. They quit on Raw, but then they're back the next week. Which, it's true. It's very true. I don't know why they did this, and then what he did later on in the show really irritated me. So before we get to that, let's talk about, we have new tag team champions on Monday Night Raw. Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. So the whole thing with this, the Revival was set up to have a tag team championship match with the B team because they beat them the previous week. And Strowman, McIntyre, and Ziggler were in Corbin's office, and they were discussing some things, and then I think Ziggler said, if the Revival can't compete, then you have to find a replacement. And Corbin was like, yeah, I'd have to find a suitable replacement. I don't know why he didn't catch on. And then the Revival, they're having a backstage segment with, I think it was Charlie Caruso. And they get assaulted by McIntyre and Ziggler. McIntyre and Ziggler make their way down to the ring, defeat the B team, and we have new Raw Tag Team Champions. I'm all for these guys having the championships. They are... It brings, like, some credibility back to the Raw Tag Team Championships. These are legit guys, legit contenders, and I'm excited for them.
Yes, this definitely felt like one of the other last-minute write-ups for Vince. It's like, okay, they're with Braun, give them some credibility, put the tag team championships on them. But what about B-Team? They've been on an undefeated streak. Who cares about them?
Goddamn, pal, they're with the big guy. Got to give them the titles. That's
yeah,
what it felt like.
This was one of the other things that it made sort of sense. It was one of the things that didn't make a whole lot of sense, but it probably made the most sense out of most of the other things on the show.
True.
But as you said, I kind of understand it. Put the titles on them, give them some credibility and all that other stuff. But I want to know what they do with Revival now. They just got laid out. Are they just going to take it and we're not going to see them? And
Go
they
back to NXT, guys.
And they just come back and pretend like nothing happened. But I think that's definitely what I want to know is what happens. B Team's probably going to get a rematch and they're going to lose again. So then what does B Team do? They're just going to be a comedy low card tag team like what we all thought they were going to be. But they sort of surprised us a little bit.
They did.
But I think this is just it all goes back to Roman. You got to put Roman, make him look good, put him over strong. So this is just another dash on the scoreboard for making Roman look good.
Yes, there are so many dashes on that scoreboard. All right, so Finn Balor confronts Baron Corbin. He's like, I want a rematch. No Chang foolery, no shenanigans. You and me one-on-one. See who the better man is. Corbin agrees to it. And then as the show goes on, Corbin's like, I got a lot of stuff on my plate, but I'll get you an opponent. His opponent is Braun Strowman. So that's the main event of not SmackDown, Raw. Jesus Christ. Strowman just squashes Balor. Balor had a great sling blade on the outside, taking Strowman down, but of course that wasn't enough. And yeah, so Strowman defeats Balor, and this is where it really just I got upset. So earlier on in the night, Strowman, McIntyre, and Ziggler, whatever this trio's name is, they come down to the ring, they cut a promo, the Shield comes down, and all the baby faces are coming out trying to separate all these guys, and really, they're all the baby faces are getting laid out by the Shield or whatever, and then the Shield gets arrested, right? They get arrested, and they get booked.
On Labor Day.
On Labor Day. Okay?
At night. And then they somehow, within a 3-hour span, get released or escape from jail to make it back to the arena. They didn't escape. They went through all the legal proceedings on a Labor Day night to come back and steal a cop car.
And steal a cop car, and Roman's
Maybe they borrowed it.
Maybe they borrowed it. Yes, the supposed face of the company borrows a cop car or whatever to come back. And why are his boys in the back? He opens up none of it made sense. That's the point. Within a 3-hour span, arrested, booked, go through all the legal proceedings to get released, return in a cop van. What?
I think Corey Graves understood how dumb this was. He tried to pull it off a little bit
to make the most sense of it
by tweeting out about David Otunga pulled some strings apparently, but
wow.
I don't know what kind of strings you could pull at 8 o'clock at night.
I don't know. David Otunga's never lost a legal case, so maybe he did.
I saw him on I Love New York. He wasn't exactly the best presenter in the world,
but he never lost a case. That's
how many cases has he tried?
I'll have to look into it. I'll call up Jennifer Hudson. We'll find out. All right, so the point of this is it made no sense, and then all these heels run and attack the Shield while they're making their way down.
Led by Kevin Owens, a man who just had a feud with Braun Strowman. That doesn't make any sense to me. Really, what? Why would you help a guy who tried to ruin your life? Come on! And Drew Gulak was in there for God knows why. Oh no, he was on Main Event or something.
Oh my god. So is Drew Gulak going to get laid out on an episode of 205 Live recently? Is that going to happen? Really? What? This made no sense. All the heels... People can say, but heels and heels, they're buddy-buddy. They break the rules. Okay?
I also want to know where the hell are the babyface in this whole situation?
Exactly!
I know the Shield, they're not the most loved people in the locker room, but the babyface are just going to let these people, I don't know how many people they have, 15 people just attack on these three guys.
This made no sense at all whatsoever.
Especially Finn. Where the hell's Finn? I know he loses, but then he's taking a nap on the side, just...
Probably. The whole arrest thing, we don't know why they were arrested. If we could have seen Baron Corbin on the phone talking to Stephanie, yeah, I had him arrested, had him booked or whatever, I got it under control. That would have made some sense. But really, come on. Come on, WWE. Really? Vince McMahon said he does not want to insult our intelligence. Vince, come on, my guy. I was on an incredible high from All In, and now, oh my God, I've defended WWE so many times. I don't know if I can do it anymore. I'm very disappointed in
See,
this.
as we circle back to the fan mail question that kind of started this whole thing off, I mean, All In, it's just simple booking. I mean, these three to five guys, whatever, however many people actually like in the elite,
Cast.
creative team that makes up all these things. I mean, I know, to be honest, you have like a 15-minute show for once a week, but I mean, still just simple booking, just simple ideas and knowing the characters.
Storylines were paid off.
And like all these different like inside jokes and all these other different things, like I know it's not the same exact thing, so it's hard to completely go apple to apple.
Yeah.
Even though technically apple and oranges, they're still fruit,
I'm
so
not
you can
trying
still compare them.
I'm not really trying to like compare. I'm just saying like All In, they had storylines completed. Sure, did some of them take like a year or well over a year? Yes, absolutely. But the point is, storylines were completed in a satisfying way. Okay, that's the point I'm trying to get at. Where in the last
And they build goodwill with their fans. So if they do make a slip up, if they mess up, we forgive them. Okay,
Yeah.
but then when it's WWE and they do all these different things, it's like, okay, they do this all the time. Like, come on, people, can we really?
Yeah.
The Shield's gonna commandeer a cop car on Labor Day after getting booked, and they're just gonna get set for whatever.
shout out to Seth Rollins for taking that crazy spot going into the.
Yeah, I saw the Glassberg. I was like, "Ooh, was that? I don't think that was sugar glass."
Did you see the picture of his arm?
And well, I saw it on Raw. It's cut up, and there was
Yeah.
crap all over. And I was like,
Nice little gash.
"It's like, yeah, that definitely was not gimmick glass."
right on the bicep. Yeah. That was interesting.
I don't know what that spot was supposed to be, but it's just Seth Rollins doing dumb things.
I'm done talking about Raw. Let's talk about SmackDown. Let's talk about something that gets me fired up.
Talk about the second best show.
Yes.
Well, maybe not the second best. NXT was pretty good.
That hits me in the feel spot. Let's talk about it. All right, so SmackDown Live. Naomi, she defeats Peyton Royce. She finally defeats one of the Iconics. She's getting beaten down by Royce and Billie Kay. Asuka returns.
Finally,
Finally.
with the new hairdo.
With the new hairdo, some new dye.
Probably she's been off TV so long, the dye was running a little
Thin.
pale.
Yep, the bleach was coming through or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, congratulations, Asuka back on TV. Naomi has an ally, because, she had two allies in Becky and Charlotte, but they're feuding with each other. So I guess this was next in line, so to speak.
I mean, people were saying Tamina was going to come back, and I was like, I don't know about that. But Asuka,
Team Bad? Team Bad reunion?
Asuka is a much better, teammate than Tamina would have been.
Hey, shout out Tamina, man. I enjoyed Tamina. I thought she should have had a run with a championship, I'm not going to lie.
Where's Nia Jax at?
Where is Nia?
She hurt? Get better soon, Nia.
She was doing a speech in New York for curvy girls. She was doing speaking at a seminar or something like that. So shout out Nia,
Anyways,
enriching the lives. Yeah, so I think this is good.
I think I enjoy the Iconics a lot more than I should. I feel like people really hate them and they're just annoying. But I'll be honest. When they did the whole Naomi thing, I popped for that.
I did too. I chuckled a little too hard. It was pretty funny. All right, so Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, they have a video package for their Hell in the Cell match that they're going to have in a few weeks, play throughout SmackDown. Jeff talks about all this crazy stuff he's done, how he's never competed in the Cell, and then Orton's is just him, all the Cell matches he's competed in, how the structure changes you. It's something like you've never been in before. What do you think of the whole thing?
I thought it was great. I thought it was one of Jeff Hardy's best promos ever, to be honest. I thought it was great, and having the video package and all the spots that he's done in the past. They showed Survivor Series 2002, which I have talked about on this show
so many times.
Soft spot in my heart, Survivor Series 2002.
That's probably the most mentioned show in the history of this podcast.
And I really loved it, and I think it's definitely building up to a swanton off the top of the cell.
Yeah, he's been saying in interviews this is the last thing he wants to do before he retires.
He can't talk about all the crazy stuff he's done and saying he wants to top it and then not top it.
Yeah, I mean, because Foley got thrown off. We've seen the elbow drop from Shane a couple times. That's
KO just jumped off the cage.
Yeah, this is literally the last thing that will shock us. We know it's coming, but I'm still gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe that.
Do you think Jeff Hardy's crazy enough to say I don't want the gimmick table?
I think he is crazy enough.
Don't put the crash pad underneath. I'm just gonna go for it.
I think he is crazy enough to say something like that.
He ain't Shane. He don't need that crash pad.
He's not Shane. Oh my god. Yeah, so video packages, they really help. Like, you don't have to get everybody on the show. Simple video packages like this, they work very well.
Sucks for the live crowd. This show might have been the best show.
Oh, for attendance.
In live, because a lot of the people weren't there. But then in the end, Miz and Maurice came back, so I think it all kind of worked out in the end. But you don't get Jeff Hardy, you don't get Randy Orton. I don't believe Nakamura was on the show. So you had some people who weren't there, but I thought this was a very good video package.
Yeah, I loved it.
I think, like, people are saying, okay, why do they have this in there instead of AJ and Joe? I think, the Jeff Hardy thing of jumping off the cell, that's kind of the big spot that they want to showcase. It's going to be a lot different. Because I think, a Samoa Joe AJ Styles match would probably be too similar to the Braun Strowman Roman Reigns one.
Yeah, not every championship match, needs the cell or whatever.
And if they're going to do something else, you can't really go bigger than a cell if you're AJ and Joe. So,
yeah.
Maybe hold off for, I don't know, whatever the next pay-per-view is, or if they're going to even have a gimmick match. Because not all, matches...
It doesn't all have to be gimmicks.
Not all blow-off matches need to be gimmick matches.
It's very true. All right, Rusev Day advances, so Aiden English and Rusev, they defeat Sanity and the Usos to advance in the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship Tournament. They face the Bar next week?
Yep.
And then winner goes on to face the New Day at Hell in the Cell. Excited for Rusev Day.
I'm excited for Rusev Day, but I'm pretty sure they're going to lose because they're already advertising the Bar versus New Day in Australia.
That's the problem with advertising all this stuff at once.
It's not spoilers because WWE puts it out themselves.
Yeah.
It's not, Big Dave reported on this stuff.
It's like, despite whatever happens at this pay-per-view, these guys are going to do it again for this title or these championships or this sequence or whatever.
Yeah, like when they put, NXT spoilers on their Instagram. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
you
can't be doing stuff like that. That just takes away the fun. All right, so Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, they have an interview segment. Oh, what did you think of this?
I thought it was really good too. They kind of went back and forth. Still looks like they're keeping strong with Charlotte Babyface and Becky Lynch heel. I don't know if anybody else picked up on this, but I just had some real stone cold vibes from Becky Lynch. Just kind of just sitting back, just staring a hole through the camera and just having not giving anything, not giving zero Fs. And she looked like a badass. I love Becky. She's my girl, so I'm a little biased to be honest, but I just love the way she's carrying herself right now.
If this were in New Japan, she would have threw out an FU, and it would have probably made the promo a hell of a lot better.
No. Just cuss. I cuss all the time, but I don't think cussing makes a promo better.
No. Listen, there are so many words in the English language. I don't think you need to cuss at all. But there are some promos I've seen, non-WWE, where a guy just throws out an F-bomb, and I'm like, oh my god, that's vicious. Why would you say that?
Juice Robinson cut a promo before the San Francisco show. He cussed all over the place, and that promo was great. Tama Tonga, on the other hand, seems like he just cusses just to cuss, and it's he tries to cuss to be edgy, and it's okay, dude, just whatever.
There's a difference.
But if you have meaning behind it, you have feeling in the cussing, then it's one thing. But if you just say it to be shocking, it's okay, whatever.
There's a difference between having passion behind it and just saying it. There's a complete difference. But yeah, Becky Lynch, man, I feel it, man. I feel something. It's there. I'm all behind this Becky Lynch character now, man.
Where's Hell in a Cell at? It's in San Antonio.
It is in San Antonio.
It's in Texas. I know it's definitely in Texas. It's going to be maybe not the most hardcore crowd. It's going to be definitely something to see. But I feel even on, I think was whatever they were in. They were in Ohio somewhere. I don't even know where the hell they were at. But I feel like Becky was still getting.
I think they were in Detroit.
They were in Detroit because that's when they announced whatever.
Yeah.
I felt like they were getting big reception for Becky. We're kind of getting away from the Brooklyn crowd and kind of getting back in the swing of things. And Becky's still getting big pops. So it's going to be interesting to see how Becky comes across.
Yes.
Next Stone Cold, Steve Austin.
I believe it.
Watch out.
Shout out Becky Balboa. All right. Oh, Wendy. So, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, this brawl. Joe's music hits. Honestly, I thought
Samoa Joe getting a Wendy's deal anytime soon. like All In got Cracker Barrel and TGI Fridays.
Hey, you never know. So Samoa Joe's music hit. I thought we were gonna get a little offshoot promo or segment of him being at the Styles estate, but that didn't happen.
Thank God.
Yeah, Joe said he decided against it. Didn't want to scare the kids, and while AJ's probably standing at the door with a bat in his hand, being terrified from when he busts through the door. And then Styles comes on screen, and there's a promo from him, and then his music hits, and then they just start brawling with each other.
Yeah, it wasn't the giant pull apart like the Shield thing was.
Thank God.
But I felt like it kind of it made AJ like he's crazy. He wants to get after Joe, but he's gonna save it for Hell in a Cell. Because honestly, I mean, all it was just Paige kind of yelling at him, and he just backed off. So I felt like that was good for babyface to not go kind of step across the line too much, but because you don't want to exactly do the same thing 2 days in a row with the pull aparts.
Yeah, that pull apart happens way too often. When it happened with Becky and Charlotte, I was okay with it, but we've seen that like 6 times in the past.
I mean, I feel like it started ever since that really good Undertaker Brock Lesnar one. It feels like they just try to reenact it, and it's just it's not the same. Jesus. Roman Hunter didn't need it. I feel like
feuds don't need
I feel like Brock and Roman. I feel like they do it every single time they face off.
Yeah, every Brock Lesnar feud has that pull apart. It happened with Cena, happened with Taker, happened with Roman. It's just Jesus, really? Come on, guys. All right, so Daniel Bryan defeats Andrade Cien Almas. So Daniel Bryan makes his way to the ring with Brie Bella. They have a promo about the Miz and Maurice, and something is shown on the screen where it was an empty arena promo from Miz and Maurice, and they showed up to the building very early. Kudos to the Miz and Maurice, probably the hardest working couple in the business. Besides,
forget Triple H and Stephanie.
Yeah. Cody and Brandy, they're next in line. They show up very early because you're either on time means you're late, and early means you're early or whatever. I don't know how the saying goes. Anyway, yeah. So
early is on time is late. Late is unacceptable. Even though I was late today, but who cares? I had to make up for the other person who used to always show up late, but he's not here with us anymore.
Yes, he's not.
Pour some out for the homie.
Yeah. So the empty arena promo happens, and then after it's over, Bryan calls him a coward, and then Selena Vega and Andrade Cien Almas make their way to the ring. While they're cutting a promo, Andrade should just not speak. I'm being completely honest. I heard him on Busted Open. He sounded completely fine. His English was really good. I don't know what's going on Smackdown.
I mean, I've never honestly heard him speak outside of WWE, so. And I don't know how good or how bad his English really is outside, but maybe it's like a nerves thing with maybe he's just not confident in his English speaking ability. I mean, Vega, she's perfectly good. She speaks great English. I assume she speaks Spanish as well. So
yeah,
I mean, I think she's perfectly fine as being a mouthpiece for Almas. Maybe you do some sort of training with him to get him a little better speaking ability. But I thought that promo last. I mean, did he talk last week?
He did talk.
I feel like last week it was a lot better than this one. I feel like they made him talk a lot more than he needed to talk, and he said like some words, and it was like I understood like 1 or 2 of the words, but I didn't understand the other ones, and I wasn't able to like combine what it actually meant. So, yeah, I wouldn't say that was a good spot for him. But when it comes to in-ring, one of the best on SmackDown.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, this match was really good. Daniel Bryan beats him with the running knee. I was glad to see that back. I guess Daniel's not doing the heel hook anymore, I guess.
Yeah, well, but that was a Big Cass thing.
Big Cass. Gotta say the indie name.
Wasn't he like Big C now, where he changed it up again? He's not Big Cass anymore.
Come on, Colin Cassidy, make up your mind there, guy. Yeah. Thoughts on the match though?
The match itself was fine.
It was really good.
Kind of setting up kind of a triple threat couples type thing with all these duos. So.
Yes. Probably going to get Almas and Vega versus Bryan and Brie next week. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I felt like the same thing with them and Rusev Day where you kind of built... I mean, I don't think it's as, like... the feud isn't as hot as it was with Rusev Day because I think Brie Bella, she doesn't have the prestige behind her like Lana does in Vega. I mean, it's something we'd, like, never seen before. And, I mean, we've seen them go at each other so many times already. So, I mean, meh.
All right. So, this was really just... It was hilarious all throughout. So, R-Truth all throughout SmackDown.
Past couple weeks,
really. Just all these great comedic segments. And he's looking for Carmella. Actually, no. He has an encounter with Miz and Maurice. He thinks Maurice is Carmella. And Miz is like, don't talk to my wife. Then Miz brings up, the awesome truth. And Miz basically said R-Truth was dead weight. Then... because earlier on in the show, Paige said that Miz was going to be in action and she's going to find somebody, whoever wants to wrestle Miz. So then that leads to R-Truth finding Carmella, telling her the things Maurice said about her, And then Ty Dillinger was like, "What are you doing, man?" And R-Truth was like, "That's how you get in the main event." And he got in the main event, and he won! R-Truth won the main event of SmackDown Live in 2018, defeating The Miz.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was great. The match itself was fine for what it was.
R-Truth can still go, man.
I mean, are we seeing maybe a babyface turn for Carmella? I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Main event Mella? Hell yeah.
Just her and R-Truth or some other people. I mean, I thought she was really good with, Enzo and Cass kind of being the female, part of that act, just kind of being fun and
the eye candy,
just kind of being in the corner doing her thing. And I think, the less she's in the ring is probably the better. Let's be honest. I mean, she's good. She's a good character. She has good promo ability. When it comes to in the ring, I don't want to see it all that much. So
I mean, no, Carmella, man, from hairdresser to eye candy,
Laker girl,
hairdresser, eye candy, Miss Money in the Bank, woman's champion, moonwalking, trash talking.
She did a moonwalking heels.
And heels. Main event Mella. Mella is money. I've been trying to tell you all that. Nobody want to listen to me, man. So anyway, the reason why R-Truth won, Daniel Bryan's music hit while Miz was about to go for the skull-crushing finale. R-Truth rolls him up, pins him, and then there's this brawl that ensues between Maurice and Brie, Daniel and Miz, and then Andrade and Selena come out there. And it's just a whole kerfuffle.
Yeah, they put him... Brie and Bryan put Almas and Vega in the yes lock, have Brie and Maurice, or Miz and Maurice look at him, and then it goes off the air, and it's like, final showdown next week.
Final showdown.
Because pay-per-view's next week?
Pay-per-view's next week, yes.
Oh, God. It just creeps up on you.
It really does. All right, so, Superstar Spotlight. Who do you got?
I mean, it's kind of easy, kind of like last week, to do a superstar spotlight on someone from All In, and I think I will. I think I'll go with Jordynne Grace. I talked about her on my Under the Radar podcast. I didn't remember what her name was, but I gave her a follow on Twitter. She tweets a lot, so go follow her. I thought she was really great on
her on Instagram
on the over budget battle royal. I thought that was great. She had a nice spot there, kind of. Just, one of the many people on that battle royal that shined.
I follow her on Instagram, and I saw she put up a text she had with her mom, and her mom was like, "Why are you picking up that large man talking about Brian Cage?" I thought that was funny. Squatted him. Yeah, Jordynne Grace, man, really powerful girl. I'm excited for her. I'm going to have to start finding a lot of her matches, checking up, see what she's doing. My superstar spotlight, Joey Janela. Joey Janela for that performance in the... Chicago street fight with Adam Page. I listened to Joey Janela. He was on Sam Roberts' pod this week. He talks about All In, behind the scenes, and what was it like for that match.
And shout out Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford, she's great.
Shout out Penelope Ford, too,
she's great.
Man. Yeah. He talks about how indie companies don't want to pay for 2 tickets because they don't get how important she is to the act. So I thought that was really cool, man. Go check out that interview. It was really solid. All right. Next up, our promo pick of the week. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, usually we turn back the clock for our picks, but this week we're keeping them current.
Keeping them current, yes.
Some stuff you guys need to watch.
Yes, it is the Bullet Club's promo from after All In, after it went off the air. And so
pretty much you can see this on Being the Elite.
You can't see this on Being the Elite, the whole thing. Yeah, Cody is talking about how, we are pro wrestling. Matt and Nick are talking about how this whole thing came together, and Kenny Omega is talking about how we're all going to stick together. They mention All In 2, Double or Nothing. Kenny, he signs us off. Goodbye, good night, bang. It was a feel good moment, a really nice curtain call to what an amazing show it was.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about it kind of after I watched it. Kind of look, because I try to stay away from spoilers because I didn't want to watch it live, so. I kind of found out what they were doing, and it's kind of ran speculation about what they're doing. They kind of hinted at it, but then didn't, fully commit to it. They kind of walked the line, saying, they're like, okay, maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't, but we're all going to stick together. So, it was a nice little curtain call moment to have the family come out. It was fun. It was a good little thing.
All right, Brandon, tell us about our match pick of the week.
So my match pick of the week is going to be from this week's NXT TV show, and that is the main event of Velveteen Dream versus Johnny Gargano. I feel like this match was fantastic, possibly one of the best matches of the week. Not because of the in-ring work. The in-ring work was fine, but I thought the story they told, especially at the end, was phenomenal. Johnny Gargano kind of going through, he doesn't really know where he's at right now. He's lost the matches with Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa, is kind of getting his head. Maybe Johnny's turning into Tommaso Ciampa. He teases a DDT off the ring apron, doesn't go for it, and then he throws him back into the ring, and Dream is yelling at him, calling him a failure. And then Gargano goes to pull the knee pad down, and basically exactly what he did at TakeOver Brooklyn. He misses it, and Velveteen Dream hits his finish for the win. And I thought this was a great match, especially the after part where Johnny Gargano just is kind of not getting booed out of the building, but he's just kind of being all lonesome and all in his feelings. So I thought the story they told of this match was phenomenal.
Yes. I actually watched the match back. Really, really good, man. Shout out to Dream. He was kind of going for some of the stuff he did in that TakeOver match with EC3. The Purple Rainmaker while Gargano was on the apron, didn't hit it. The whole match was great. The super kicks while Dream was kind of tied up in the rope, that was cool. Dream threw a super kick that looked pretty nice. Everything, they clashed really well together. This was a great match if you were there live at Full Sail.
And a match that's going to be probably the match pick of the week in 2 weeks is Ricochet versus Pete Dunne, title for title. That match is going to be crazy.
Title for title.
That match is going to be crazy if it's given the time and not...
It's going to be
insane. And the Undisputed Era doesn't interfere, but that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be insane in the membrane, bro.
Uh-huh.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, follow us on Twitter at BulletCast. Instagram is The BulletCast. YouTube channel The BulletCast. Facebook is BulletCast. Email us questions for the fan mail segment. BulletCast2 is in the number 2, sweet SWEET at gmail.com. We are on the radio, 99.9 FM KW in Watsonville, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play. We're all over the place, baby. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This has been another episode of the BulletCast. Check out his Under the Radar episodes. Check out whatever bonus podcast I decide to upload in the next coming weeks. This has been BulletCast. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
This has been the BulletCast. Thank you for listening.